To cut and sew a bustier like this with a ruffle, you need three basic things, and that is the basic bustier pattern and then the raglan sleeve, just as you can see in the pinned picture here. And of course, after that, you would just use it to get the pattern of your ruffle. And that is what I'm going to share with you in this tutorial. But this is the drafting tutorial because it's quite long. In my next tutorial, I'll be sharing with you the sewing part of this tutorial. I am Dimma and you're welcome to Jenjes Couture, and in this tutorial I'll be sharing with you how to draft this beautiful bustier top with ruffle. So right here I have my pattern already. I have my paper that I'll be using. I just measured it to be sure that it's enough for my half length, and then I had to mark the shoulder measurement divided by 2 and vertical line like that. Then I'll measure down 5 inches, which is the across chest, and I am going ahead to divide the across chest by 2 and measure there. Right now I'm measuring the neckline, which is 3 by 3. Okay, you can use 3.5 by 3.5 if your client is a bit on the big side. Then after that, you just measure your bust measurement divided by 4. That is what I marked and then drew that vertical line. Okay, now this is the shoulder slope, which is 1 inch down, and I connected to the neckline. Now this is the armhole measurement. If you're familiar with my patterns, by now you will know how to measure your armhole. But in case you are not, I'll link in the description a pattern making that will help you know all of these parameters. Now this is the half length for the front, and that is 17.5, and I just marked it there and drew a horizontal line. Okay, now I'm going to connect the bust line like that. Now the next thing to do is to measure your bust point, which is there, that is the bust level, then bust to bust, which is 3.5 for me. That is 7 divided by 2, which is 3.5. I measured it on the waistline. I took my dart, half inch on both sides of that bust to bust on the waistline. And now this is the dart leg that I'm connecting and ensuring it stops 1 inch below the bust point. Okay, now this is the on the bust. Okay, I will take 3/4 this way and 1/4 that way, and I will connect this to the waistline just as you can see me do. Now you can see that the second one I drew increased the dart leg by 1/4 inch. Now the next thing to do is just to measure your waist measurements divided by 4. You mark, then you mark the dart intake, which is now 1/4 because of the under bust tightening. Okay, now you can see where I marked, which will be going off. Now I'm connecting this under bust tightening to the bust point. Watch closely aside what I'm saying and you will understand everything I did. This part also will be going out. So having done that, I'll mark the level I want my neckline to be, the neckline depth. I always like to take my neckline depth this way than taking it from the initial, time, because it is easier. Okay, now I dropped my neckline by 3/4 inches. Now I measured there and it gave me 4.5. Okay, from the shoulder tip to where this my off shoulder neckline started. Now this is the over bust tightening, which I took a point and marked 5/8 on both sides of that point that I took, and I'm connecting this to the bust point. That is all I did here. I'm connecting the second leg, and that is the over bust tightening. I hope you understand. So this is the front pattern. Here I omitted the side bust dart, but I finally put it after making the back pattern. Sorry about that. I hope you understand. So now I just had to draw a line there and took the shoulder measurement divided by 2 again, and I drew my line. And I'll take 5 inches down again for the across back, and I measured my across back measurement divided by 2. And here I took the neckline measurement, which I still took 3 by 3 since it is an off shoulder and is not a high neck. Okay, now I dropped the neckline this time by 4.5 for the back. You know that for the front it was 3/3. Now that is the shoulder slope, which I dropped by 1 inch. Now is the bust measurement divided by 4. I marked it and I drew a vertical line. I hope this is clear, guys. And now this is the back half length, which I am taking right now, and I had to draw a horizontal line to mark that. Now I'm going to go ahead and draw my armhole measurement, which is from the shoulder tip to the across back, and then to where the armhole measurement touches the bust measurement vertically. Okay, so having drawn the armhole measurement, I'll go ahead and take my back tightening, which I took as half, and from there I will measure my waist measurement divided by 4 plus that intake of 1 inch. I hope you understand. So right now that is the back tightening, and this is the 4.5 I took for the front. If you remember, I measured it from the shoulder tip to where I curved this my neckline, and it was 4.5 in front. It's the same 4.5 I took for the back, and I connected it to the back neck drop. So this is the back. Right now I'm drawing the front side bust, and that is 1.5 I measured there, and I connected to the bust point, and that is it. 1.5 is the difference between the front and the back half length, and that is what I have there. Now, having done that, I'll go ahead and cut my pattern pieces out and then go ahead to cut it on fabric when I'm done. But before I do that, I will show you how to make the sleeve pattern. So you can see the back tightening there. I shaded it because that part will be going off as well. So now this is what I need. I left the yoke part because I will not be needing it. So this is what the pattern looks like for the front and the back. So I'll go ahead and slash it and cut out every part that I do not need, which are the shaded portions of this pattern. So I'll just cut it out and also close the side bust that. And with this, I will know the pattern pieces is complete. So I'll use my masking tape and close the side bust that for the front, of course. Okay, so I've taped it down here. Okay, so that is what I have here. This is the front pattern, and that is the back. Complete bodice pattern set. So I'll go ahead and make, so this is what I'll be using, the fabric and of course the zipper that you can see there. So this is the lining. I'll use that as a lining. I use the first one as the fabric because I lined this. Okay, I went ahead to cut the body of the top before I made the sleeve pattern. Okay, so right now this is the center front, and that is the back, and this is the side front. I'll go ahead and arrange it very well and then cut it out. Here, I remember that I wanted to make my own length longer, and I've already, cut open that part. Here, I'm just wondering what I was going to do because I wanted it to be longer, definitely. And I measured what I have there after pushing it up, and I noticed it's not up to the amount I want to lengthen this top by. So I just had to remove that part and continue with the rest of the pattern so that I can cut that one later on. That is just what happened there. Okay, so right now I'm just cutting the side front. Pay close attention and you will understand everything I did in this whole top making. So right here I am adding 3 inches to the length. Okay, and 3 inches there. I don't have my chalk handy. I actually traveled and I am making this video in the village. Actually, I traveled home, so I don't have all I needed handy, so that is why I'm using my tape like that to measure and get what I want. So having done this, I'll go ahead and cut out there. Yep, so this is what we have, and I'm just notching the seam allowances. Notch the bust points, notch the on the bust, just notch everywhere that needs to be notched. So that is what I'm just doing there. Now after this, I am going to go ahead and cut the center front. You remember I did not cut it because I did not make it as long as I wanted. So these are the ones I've concluded. I will go ahead and fold up the fabric like this. This fabric is a bit stretchy. It's like a shirt fabric, okay? And the lining as well is a bit stretchy. So right now I measured 3 inches and then had to go ahead and cut out the pattern, just as you can see me do. So this was what I wanted to do earlier, and I omitted the extra I wanted to add towards the waist end. Okay, so right now I am putting notches where appropriate, that is on the bust, the bust point, and every other place that needed to be notched. Okay, I didn't notch the seam allowance because I know it is ½ inch. It's only by the side I add like 1/4. Every other part is ½ inch seam allowance, and I already know that. So right now this is the lining pieces. I also folded it, the part is stretchy, so that everything will rhyme with the stretch of the main fabric. You won't place the main fabric where it stretches and then place the lining otherwise, no. So I ensured that I placed it in along the cross grain where it stretches, just the same way I placed the fabric pieces. Okay, so right here I've cut out the lining, and I'll go ahead and put notches where necessary as well. So this is me just putting the notches I added earlier with the top, the main fabric, and this is what I have basically. So right now I'll just go ahead and cut out the back pieces with all of that. So right now I have to put my notches where necessary along the sides, and of course every other place that I need to notch. You can see 1/4 as well at the zipper allowance. Okay, so I like putting it by the side or by the zipper if I have a zipper for the clothing. So now I want to make the sleeve pattern. Please pay close attention to understand how I made. This is just the same way you do your basic sleeve. I measured 5 inches and I drew a horizontal line like that. Please pay attention. Now this is the biceps, the upper arm. Okay, the upper arm, round the upper arm. Now what I got for myself was 12 and I added 2 inches. Okay, that is 14. I measured 7 there, and see how I connected a sort of line there. So this line I'm going to divide into 4 parts. Okay, so if you get like 8, it's going to be 2 inches. So that is exactly what I did there. On that first part I added 3/4, and here 3/8, and down there is ½ inch. So I connected the 3/4 like this to the 3/8 and then to the half, and connected to the biceps like this. Now this is the cap of a basic sleeve. I hope you understand what I mean. Okay, so this is the cap of a basic sleeve, and that is what I'll be using for the off shoulder style, for the sleeve of the off shoulder that will now carry the ruffle on the neckline. So right now you can see that there I measured 4.5. Okay, that 4.5 I will also be using here. Okay, now measure 4.5 from here, just add ½ inch because of cap ease, that is always on the sleeve, basic sleeve. So if you get 4.5 like me, just measure 5. Okay, then you mark it like that and connect it like this. Okay, so here I measured 1/3 from that tip of the cap. Okay, and here I am measuring 2.5 inches. I hope you understand. I first measured 2.5 inches. I now decided that 2 inches is still enough. You can still use 2.5, it's fine, but I didn't want it to get to the underarm. I want the underarm to be like open. So this part I shaded will be going off. The only side I need is the part that I did not shade. Please, if you don't understand anything I mentioned in this video, go ahead and ask me a question, and I'll be in the comments to explain further anything you do not understand in this tutorial. Okay, So right now I had to fold it like this, that is twice, and this is along the part that it stretches as well. So I'm going to cut out this sleeve. So if I cut it out now, it's 2 pieces, but I need it 4 pieces because I will use one as the lining. My fabric is not enough, so I had to make do with the lining for the sleeve pattern, knowing that the ruffle is going to cover all of that. Okay, so I had to reserve it for the ruffle on the neckline. If you watch, the ruffle is not even as full as the original picture because I did not have enough fabric to really like make it that full. But if you have enough fabric, you can make your own fuller. Okay, so now these are the pattern pieces. I have the front pattern, the side front and the center front, and then I have the back pattern, which is here with the lining pieces. And then I'll be using the matching thread that you can see there, and then I'll stitch that when I am sewing it. If you have a hairstay, please, you can apply to the fabric piece, but here I don't have all of that handy. I had to make do with what I have and it came out nice. So I'm going to go ahead and start stitching all of that, and I will show you all of that in the next tutorial because this tutorial is already too long because I wanted to make it from scratch. So this was how I like made the ruffle, and I will show you in detail in my next tutorial, which will be coming up really soon. Between 1 to 2 days it should go up on the channel. Thanks guys for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Love you all. Bye.